Hello, everybody. Just wanted to jump on for a bit and maybe do some updates, such as they are. So, I think what we can say at this point in time is that there's been no elite collapse in Iran. I think if there was going to be elite collapse in Iran, it would have happened by now. That's not to say it won't happen at some point, but to me, I think what the plan was they were going to go in loud. They were going to kill Khamenei and a bunch of the Iranian leadership, and that was going to lead to Iran's collapse. Like the regime was going to turn on each other, or it was going to be every man for himself, and people were going to start defecting to the Americans, and all this kind of stuff. None of that wound up happening, and now they're just kind of stuck. And once again, I don't think they have another theory of victory acting to the Americans other than the Iranian government being overthrown by the people or there being an internal coup. They don't have any direct way of removing Iran from power, the Iranian government from power. So it's yes, Constantine is right. I was completely and totally vindicated. The White House has announced that it is a special combat operation, not a special military operation. So I called it. I called it days ahead of time. I'm going to still keep calling it the special military operation because that's the brand, baby. That's the brand. But yeah, so it doesn't appear that there's any kind of elite collapse going on in Iran at the moment. It seems like I can't recall his name, but the national security advisor or whoever has managed to, at least for the short term, consolidate power. And there aren't mass protests in the streets. There aren't whole units that are defecting. I think Hezbollah has continued to join the fray. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So the new plan that they have, because things are having trouble. Once again, I don't deny that there isn't a significant possibility at some point the Iranian government just caves. The economic issues get too bad, or America just kills enough of the leadership, or something happens. Laranjani, thank you. Yes, that's his name, Laranjani. Or something happens that leads to a collapse. But the thing is, if there was going to be like a sudden one, I think it was going to happen on the first day as a result of the shock. Now that the shock is over, Laranjani has had trouble, has had time to consolidate power somewhat. If he needed to replace anybody, get a grasp on what the facts of life are. They've elected a new temporary supreme leader. So things appear to be fairly stable for the moment. Now, what's been going on in the Gulf states is a lot of people there are not very happy. So I don't think any of the oh yeah, Constantine, I'll get to that in a second. Actually, we'll get to that now. So the new theory of victory that I've heard is they're going to get together a coalition of the leftovers from the previous failed wars, and get them to invade Iran. So we're going to get the Azeris, we're going to get the Kurds, we're going to get the Baluchis, and whatever's left of ISIS, and we're going to get all those guys to invade Iran. And we're going to have this big coalition of all the losers from our previous conflicts. Seems like that's the plan that they're thinking of at the moment. Now, does this have any chance of success? Not really. Do any? I don't know if any of these actually have a mobile army. I mean, I guess ISIS did, but ISIS has kind of been repeatedly blown up. I don't think the Kurds have like mechanized forces. I guess the U.S. could give them mechanized forces, but I don't know. It's an interesting question. But so the Gulf states are not happy. The Gulf states are not happy. They aren't snaking America or anything like that. But they bought into the idea that America could protect them, that America could ensure their long-term security, that they could be the America would protect them. America would take care of things. That turned out to not really be the case. I mean, the U.S. is doing what they can to protect them, but they're still getting hammered by Iranian missiles. And there's not really a lot they can do to stop it. They can just keep shooting them down. Constantini points out that they could send in the expendables, which I guess that is that's one option. They could send in the the expendables to try to deal with it. But yeah, so they're mad at the U.S. Because they're stuck in this quagmire. The Straits of Hormuz have been closed, so I've heard when I typed this in, ChatGPT corrected me. It said technically the straits are not closed. It's that Lloyd's won't insure any of the ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz, and no one's willing to risk getting shot at by the Americans or Iranians. So it's de facto closed, and not fully closed. So none of these people can export oil. My understanding is I think Saudi Arabia has maybe like one oil pipeline that goes across the country. So maybe Saudi Arabia can export some through the Red Sea. Although the Red Sea, like the Houthis have that locked down too. So that is a problem. Yeah, Iran has been shooting at the ships that tried. So none of these people can make any money. A lot of these countries are run by people with extremely high time preference, who, despite trillions of dollars in oil revenue, are still in massive debt, and their economies are completely unstable because they built a bunch of bullshit with it. And every day that the ships can't move, their economies stagger towards collapse. Now, I think some are better than others. It differs a lot country to country, but it's not a good scenario in general. So people are pretty mad about the whole thing. There's not really much that they can do. The question will be, what will their populations think? Zoro makes a good point. The Gulf states are highly reliant on imported goods, including food. Yeah, there's also massive welfare payouts. Yeah, that's the question. I think there's a bigger risk that you could have. I mean, they're already having uprisings in Bahrain, but I could see there being more uprisings throughout the Arab world. Throughout the Gulf states, because they're probably going to start running out of food at some point in the next couple of weeks. They aren't able to export any oil. They're getting missiles fired at them, and they're getting missiles fired at them because they wanted protection from America. So the people are not going to be happy about it. From what I've heard, a lot of this was some kind of huge 4D chess plan from MBS of Saudi Arabia, wherein he told America to go do it, but at the same time, other stuff. Yeah, the Gulf. If Iran really wanted to hurt them bad, they could start firing at the desalination plants in the middle, in the Gulf, and in Israel. I think Israel has desalination. Maybe someone can correct me on that. My understanding is they're somewhat reliant on it too. Now, obviously, Iran also has economic problems, but I don't know. Iran is a much larger country. I'm sure that they're much more self sufficient in terms of food production. I'm not sure if the Israelis and Americans are like attacking farms or stuff like that. Okay, yeah, Israel has desalination plants. Yeah, they could start hitting those if they really wanted to start playing dirty. I'm not sure where else Iran could. Maybe Iran could import food through like Azerbaijan. I'm not sure how much traffic there is across the Caspian Sea. Because couldn't theoretically Iran import food from Russia? Because Russia produces a lot of food. I'm not sure. I don't think Iran's in danger of starving anytime soon. Not nearly as much as the Gulf states, which are basically high time preference given human form. So that's happening. Regatalk says Iran is very self-sufficient because they've been embargoed for so long. The U.S. helped them get ready for this. Yeah, that's true. I was actually about to say that, but yeah, you beat me to it. Yeah, Iran has been constantly embargoed for a exceedingly long time and faced all kinds of sanctions. They've had to become fairly self-sufficient. Once again, I'm not sure how much they're hitting infrastructure at the moment in Iran. Sorry, if a lot of what I say is I'm not sure, I don't know. Part of that is just because their reports are all over the place. So I'm not sure of how much infrastructure is getting hit, but the rest of the economy might be able to somewhat function. Um, if it's only like largely military bases. I mean, if you look at this map zoomed out, it's only a couple parts of the country that are even getting hit. Um, Tehran is obviously in trouble and a couple other big cities, but if you live in the rest of this, I don't really see why life wouldn't be going on fairly normal at the moment. Whereas if you look at Israel and the Gulf states, they are tiny countries with no strategic depth. So they're just getting attacked all over. So the big thing that we have coming up, that's going to be the first, I guess, the U.S. is on a couple of different timers in this war. The first timer is the air defense missiles. Now, they keep saying there's lots of air defense missiles. The Gulf states keep insisting on it. They keep going, look, we got so many air defense missiles. There's never been a country in history with more air defense missiles than what we got. So they did that, but it by all accounts it looks like they're falling down. I just keep in mind, America, after it ramped it up, produces about 550 Patriot missiles a year. That is the total yearly production of America, and that is distributed all across the world, including Ukraine, including Israel. So, like, Bahrain alone claims that they have shot down 140 munitions since the start of the war. Keep in mind, you fire at least 2 Patriot missiles per target. So Bahrain alone has gone through half a year's production of America's Patriot missiles, if that's what they were using. I mean, I think there's some others they make, but you kind of get the point I'm trying to to throw out there. Like they can talk about how we've shot down dozens of missiles, but the U.S. just doesn't do anything. The other issue is, and once again, I'm not entirely sure um, what the stockpiles are like, but America's still relying on the Gulf bases, which are constantly getting hit by missiles. So I don't know if it's possible that some of those bases, the munition stores, might get hit by something. I don't know. That seems possible to me. So like, yeah, the only places that they can really resupply from um, is Diego Garcia and Europe, neither of which is particularly close. If Iran starts blowing up some of their munitions there, it's just when I hear that the U.S. has done hundreds of airstrikes, you have to keep in mind that I don't think they produce hundreds of missiles a year for some of these. Does anyone know? I'm not as familiar uh, with air launched missiles as I am with ground launched ones. What are like the main ones that they use on like F-16s and F-35s? Like the main precision guided weapons they use. What was it called again? Let's see here. Does the U.S. even produce? Okay, yeah, the U.S. produces 1,000 tomahawks a year. I'm not sure how many they've used in this JDAM. Okay. All right, the JDAM. Is the JDAM like the American version of the glide bomb? Because it kind of looks like it. Okay, JDAM. Okay, so they produce about 10,000 JDAMs a year. Okay, so they have a fair number of that. Does that count as a precision guided weapon, though? I don't think they glide, so no. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what it is exactly is the main one that they use. I mean, Trump came out and let me see if I can find this. Trump unlimited weapons. Okay, here we go. Trump has said that the U.S. has virtually unlimited munitions to fight wars forever. I mean, they're talking about taking stuff out of the Pacific, so that's obviously not the case. You know what? Let's go on a field trip. Let's go look at Trump's Truth Social and see what kind of like insane cope is going on there. Let's see. Block. Okay, Congressman. Look at how bad these are. What the fuck? Is that AI or is that Photoshop? It's terrible Photoshop. If that's what it is. Okay, let's see here. Fads are being moved out of Korea. Okay. Oh, Trump has all of these things. Okay, let's see here. Uh, Okay, let's see. Trump will be remembered as the greatest foreign policy president in American history. That's okay. This okay. I'm just gonna scroll up and we'll save the surprise. I'll read through this. President Trump will be remembered as the greatest foreign policy president in American history. Fury unleashed on Ayatollah March 1st. Where previous presidents have stood by, or in the case of Barack Obama, facilitated Iran when it financed terror worldwide and worked to develop a nuclear bomb, Trump has identified and eradicated an existential threat. Like Winston Churchill, Trump is saving the West and Western civilization from murderous madman. And that is by Mark Kasowitz from Manhattan. So I guess that kind of shows it. Let's see here. What is it with Trump and Zoran? I don't know. Why does he like him so much? Okay. We have all this. Oh, okay. Here we go. Effective. Okay, let's look at the insanity that we have here. Effective immediately, I have ordered the United States Development Finance Corporation to provide at a very reasonable price political risk insurance and guarantees for the fiscal security of all maritime trade, especially energy, traveling through the Gulf. This will be available to all shipping lines. If necessary, the U.S. will begin escorting tankers through the Straits of Hormuz as soon as possible. That does not sound like a good idea. That sounds like a really bad idea. Like a really good way to get ships destroyed. No matter what, the United States will ensure the free flow of energy to the world. More actions to come. Thanks for your... okay. I'm just seeing on True Social if even like the people here are getting this. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this. This is his reassurance everything is okay, guys. The United States by the way, I just like to start for by the way, wouldn't that make Iran more likely to attack the ships? Okay, I'm just going to ask chat because maybe my intuition is fake. If America is ensuring the ships going into the Strait of Hormuz, and each ship that gets destroyed is going to be a massive payout of the ship and to the families of the crew who die, wouldn't Iran be more likely to shoot the ships? I don't know. I once again, maybe I'm just not. To me, that's like a win-win for Iran. Okay, so this is, here we go. We've got Trump. The United States munitions stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. Have at the medium. What the fuck is the medium and upper medium grade? Okay, that's weird. Not the high grade. The high grade sucks. As stated to me today, we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we have a good supply, but are not where we want to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum of Ukraine. Hundreds of billions of dollars worth, and he gave away so much of the super high end away free, he didn't bother to replace it. Fortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. The United States is stocked and ready to be to win big. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Donald Trump. Um, I don't know. This dude just writes like he has, I don't know if he's had a stroke or something. Medium and upper medium grade. Like, part of the problem is Trump's desire to blame other people for everything conflicts with his narcissism. So we have this scenario where because I rebuilt the U.S. Army, we have unlimited resources, but we're low on resources because of Biden and Zelensky. Is what we have. Let's take a look at some more of this. Oh, the cringe. With Operation Epic Fury, we are witnessing the birth of a new doctrine to guide the United States' global leadership in the 21st century, the Trump Doctrine. Okay, like, okay, you guys can call me a cuck Canadian. I'm kind of tired of the fucking baseball caps. Like, dude, just be a fucking professional for once in your life. Their air defense, Navy, Air Force, air defense. Okay, so their air defense, Air Force, Navy, and leadership are gone. They want to talk. I said too late. Okay, well, if that's the case, who's still fighting? That's like everybody. So who's running the show? What is this? This looks like some fucking antichrist biblical shit. I don't know. This looks like Trump is the antichrist. So, okay, but if no, but you guys get what I mean. Like, how is Iran still firing missiles if everything was destroyed? Uh, of course, Mark Ruda, that F slur. Melania makes a history with a suit. U.S.-China deficit plummets. What the fuck is this? Get him all on Brandon? This is the president. This is the president of the United States. So, just trying to. He has all this shit. I'm just trying to find the if he's posted anything more about the war. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrendous nuclear deal, JCPOA, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon 3 years ago. That was the most dangerous transaction we have ever entered into. And it had been allowed to stand, the world would be an entirely different place right now. You can blame Barack Obama and sleepy Joe Biden. Thank you, Donald Trump. Okay. I'm gonna have to just ask was the JCPOA really that bad? I've never seriously heard people say that Iran was violating it. Like, I've never really seen evidence for this, that it was not working. Look at this fucking gay shit. America's turning 250. We're gonna put Trump on a $250 bill. Wow. Okay.
Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the
I think now Trump is saying that he forced Israel to do it. It should be noted that Khamenei was actually the most anti-nuclear weapon in the Iranian government. He had issued like a religious ruling saying that nuclear weapons were antithetical to Islam. Rain's currently sitting in my lap. She'll probably freak out and bite me in a minute, but she's there for a moment. Is that what Mark Levin looks like these days? Kind of a fucking whale. God cursed him for how wicked he was. It's just, I don't know. Epic Fury for cringe of the year. Hey Rain, what do you think? Ow, okay. She bit me. What do you mean by sticking to your guns on Iran? You mean I haven't jumped on board the this was a good idea the whole time train wagon, or something like that? I mean, okay, so for the what the fuck? I will say this, for the midterms, I would honestly still probably vote Republican. I'm just gonna come out and say it. The problem is, as bad as all of this nonsense is, Trump is the only thing kind of securing the border and kind of restraining illegal immigration and legal immigration and refugees. If Trump gets impeached and we go down this road, then there is going to be a lot of that I think is more of an existential threat. So, back to this for a second. The question I have is, how does this end? Okay, so what are the possibilities for this whole thing? Possibility one, Iran collapses. This is the one that they're hoping for. Either there'll be elite defections, I don't know, they'll destroy the infrastructure, ISIS or whoever they bat phone manages to take out the Iranian government, something like that. That is number one. Number two, one side or the other sues for peace. Now, the problem is neither side can really sue for peace without making it look really bad. I think Iran is in a better position to sue for peace, but if Iran at this point is going to sign a peace treaty, like an agreement with America, they are going to want their pound of flesh. They're going to want something better than whatever the deal was that they were going to get, and they're going to want a bunch of stuff. So, I don't know. I can't. Then again, Trump is so mercurial and so erratic. I could see him honestly just decide to say that like he won, that Iran has agreed to a peace treaty and just leave or something like that. I don't know. Iran has said that they will not negotiate. So I don't know if this is true or not, but the claim is that the reason why Khamenei was with all of these senior officials was that the US or Israel or someone had pretended that they accepted a peace deal, and they were meeting to consider it. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's happened like 4 times or something like that. So it's possible. If the Iranians took it seriously, though, they are utterly retarded. But I've heard that that was the trick was used once again, and they fell for it like they always do. Um, so Rod's not going to negotiate. No, I said mercurial. Mercurial. Am I not using it right? Doesn't mercurial mean that you have a ever shifting and erratic temperament? Um, but what was I saying? Lost my train of thought there. So that's one thing. Neither side looks like it's going to back down at this point. It would have to be some sort of something like that. The other thing that I think is a possibility, I don't know if it's a high possibility, is if air defense missiles run out, if Israel starts to run low on whatever their bombs are or aircraft or whatever, and Iran is still just hitting them daily with ballistic missiles, is there a point that Israel starts using atomics? Because that's the big question. Or does America use them so Israel doesn't have to? Because that's also a possibility. Do I have a stream schedule? No, I don't. I just stream whenever I feel like it. Um, Depends how tired I am after work. A lot of the time, or if there's something to actually talk about. So no, there is no schedule. There is no plan. Also, just trying to cover some of this because yeah. I will be heading off to Europe on Saturday. I don't know. So, people in the chat, what do you think? Do you think if Israel runs out of air defense missiles and they keep getting pounded, are they going to go and sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Use nuclear weapons? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know if that's too far even for them, but it's definitely a possibility. I don't know. Just everybody's gone all in on this one. Israel's gone. Well, Israel hasn't gone all in on this one. Israel can bow out whenever they want. Trump's gone all in on this one, and Iran's gone all in on this one. So it's just at this point who wants it more. It's like in I can't show movie clips, but it's like in Rocky Four where Ivan Drago and Rocky are just punching each other. A false flag if they do, yeah, that's a good possibility at some point that Israel might do a false flag. That is very much in line with standard operating procedure. So I think that's most of what I had to talk about. It's kind of amazing that the Ukraine war just got resolved, and like I haven't seen it anywhere in the news cycle. It's over. It's over and done with. Uh, Yeah, the school got bombed and like 150 girls got killed. Initially, they said, okay, so my understanding is initially they said it was a falling Iranian air defense missile, but then CNN and I think some other people confirmed that it was a American or Israeli missile. I'm going to be honest, I don't think America would deliberately target a school. I just don't. I don't really get what they would get out of it. I don't think, like, Trump is delusional. I don't think he's that level of, like, sadistically evil. Um, and I don't think the American army is that sadistically evil. Now, so it was probably an accident, which is unfortunate, but these things just kind of happen in war. I'm not trying to be callous, I'm just trying to be honest. If it was Israel, that's another issue. I don't know. I still don't. I still have my doubts that Israel would do something like that. But they are a very petty country, so it's not out of the question. That does that. It was Israel 100% and intentional. No, the school was near a military base. Yes, I do read the Bible, not as much as I should, though. Okay, here's an interesting question: will Israel and America kill more civilians than Russia has killed in Ukraine? Let me see what the running because they might. Let's see. The number is pretty low that they have to beat. I'm just trying to see. Is there a list of civilians killed? Okay, so the number to beat is something like 14,000. I just want people to keep in mind the civilian casualties in Ukraine have been extremely low. Let me see where it is. The current estimates have just shy about 14,000 civilian deaths in the Russo-Ukraine war. So I will have to say, like you hear stuff about the armed forces of the Ukraine, but the number of civilian deaths is extremely low, given how high intensity it's been. So I think they do deserve some credit for that. Let's see here. I was trying to think. Let's see, how many civilians has Israel killed in Gaza? Um, Okay, so Wikipedia, that reliable source, says 82,000. So keep in mind, Israel has killed like a much higher percentage of soldiers than a higher number of civilians and a percentage of civilians than yeah. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought there. What the fuck is Popular Forces? Fatah affiliated groups. Do the Hamas armed forces even do anything? I haven't really heard much about them ever really fighting the Israelis. If that's accurate, though, not that many militants have actually been killed. It's like 95% civilian. So, I'm trying to think. Limited war. Yeah, so I think that's about where we are at the moment. If anybody has any questions for me, let me know. If not, I'll head out for the evening. Okay. Well, in that case,